Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Glad to be back. Hope you're having fun. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Had a pretty sweet post go out, what is it, hour and a half ago? 2.5 hours ago, something like that. Very happy about that. If you haven't read it, check it out. We're starting things off strong. Agent Zero coming in with the resub. 8 months. Thank you very much. B Mike. Oh, I don't know if I have a bee costume right now, but I feel like we're getting to that time of year, aren't we? I need to do something. I've had like a Halloween costume that I've been wanting to do, sort of like considering doing for, I don't know, a decade. I just never gotten around to it. Maybe this year's the year. We'll see. Is Mike in a custom dev client? No, I'm in the live client version. It is. You see the number right up there on the top left. If it was a dev client, it would say dev client. How else can I show that it's the real one? That doesn't actually show that it's the real one. There, it's got the updates and everything. Here we go. That's what I'm playing. All right, let's keep moving. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If this is your first time here, glad to have you. I'm one of the developers for Last Epoch, and I'm here to play Last Epoch and answer some questions. So if you have a question for me, please put it in chat with @LastEpochGame in the front, or @LastEpoch on YouTube, and we will get all those questions get brought over to me, and I'll go through them one at a time and answer as many as I can. Do my best. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the game. Which, if you have any questions about it, hopes, dreams, desires, all that good stuff, love to hear it. We stream for charity. All of everything that comes from stream goes to charity. Yeah. Let's just dive into some questions. If anyone's wondering, I am playing a summoning necromancer. I've gone through the build quite a few times on stream, but here's like the super quick version of it that you can go back and clip and look at if you want, slowly and pause. And I know I'm blasting through it. That's it. And blessings are, here we go. I think we've got a link for it somewhere as well. It hasn't changed much. We're hunting for Exalteds. We've got uniques with legendary potential to replace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots in our inventory right now, in our bank. And so we're looking for uniques or Exalteds to go with those right now. We're doing. All right, first question. Oh, hi, Mike. Oh, hi. Would it be possible to have more supporting nodes for Holy Trail in the Javelin tree? It's my favorite build, and we currently run out of scaling nodes for Holy Trail at 16 points or so. Interesting. Because it's a pretty specific section of the tree, I think if we were gonna do something like that, it's more likely that they'd be like generically useful nodes that we get added in instead of like specific for that. But yeah, I mean, that sort of thing is totally possible, especially if there's like a section of the tree where like nothing, or like that's something we try to avoid, is where if there's certain nodes in the tree that when you take it, huge sections of the tree get invalidated and are just pointless. Now I'm not sure, I haven't looked at that tree in months, to say the least, so I'm not sure if there is a, like, if there's nodes that are functional but not like super strong power scaling nodes that could still be useful there. So we may have, when we counted up the, hey, are there enough functional nodes, we may have included those. Love the jumps you can do with Summon Skeleton Transport. Love it. All right. Hey, Mike. Hello. Oh, and EHG team. Everyone. With everything going on, based off today's post from Judd, how would you sum up the current state of EHG and last Epoch right now? Like a brief sum up, I would say, I say this shortly, like there's a lot of new stuff happening. There's a lot of new like projects being spun up. Like new things are coming together that are really exciting. It's really exciting to be on the working side of things right now. Yeah, I would say, and it's usually I have this exact same problem all the time. Is the hardest part for me is just not telling everything that's coming. Yeah, I struggle with that sometimes. I'm like, but I could just tell everyone about it, right? I'm not supposed to. Cool, let's go get that chest. We actually probably should bump up the corruption. I think we're playing a little safe right now. Probably be a little more aggressive. How many approximately sets get new and revisited? So like the change for upcoming sets in season 4. I don't have a fixed number yet. I would say a few. At least one, but no more than a few new sets. I'll only commit to one because I only know for sure one's coming. But you know, like we're trying to get as much in as we can, and it's still pretty early as far as timeline for uniques and sets are usually one of those things that get pushed closer to the midpoint / endpoint of a development cycle. So exactly how many are coming, I don't know yet. But one of them's been made, so I know one of them's coming for sure. All right. What is your favorite era world map? Favorite era to work on? Favorite era to play through? Oh, I don't do much of the actual working on specific eras, so that doesn't really do much for me. My favorite era to look at the map, just look at the map itself, is the Ancient Era. I love the Ancient Era. There is some cool Easter eggs in the Ruined Era though that I can never find quickly. Yeah, there it is. Little Easter egg there. There's a few more in the darkness that are pretty sweet. Playthrough, I really like the Imperial Era. I think that's my favorite one to play through. Maybe, I don't know. It changes. We'll go with that right now. I gave just about every possible answer to that question. All right. Oh. Blue can sometimes be useful, but Dreadshade we're kind of whatever on right now, I think, for that. We just want the health. We need health and health regen. Those are our big ticket things right now. And there's health regen. We need flat health regen. Interesting. Okay. These just 1 LPs? They're just 1 LPs. We could do a health regen version of that instead of percent health. That might be better. I'm gonna put this here for now. We can move the Exalted affix over there. Hey Mike. Hello. I know you can't tell us what's gonna be in the expansion, but do you know what's going to be in the expansion? I know a very tiny thing that is for sure gonna be in the expansion. Just the tiny. I know one piece of it that I know for sure is gonna be in the expansion. But there's a lot that's still up in the air for sure. So it is. There's a lot of stuff that's still to be determined to go into it. Like the vast majority is not set in stone. We do. It's almost a little bit misleading though, because we do tend to be fairly flexible on exactly what happens. So like we plan ahead on what we're like. We think this is gonna be like we're gonna put features A, B, and C into this, and we think that's what it's gonna be. And maybe that's like in the a significant way down in the future, and we're like, we're gonna do these 3 things for this release. And then we have another release that comes before that, and another release that comes before that, and we, based on what we put into there, things that may have gotten cut from that, things that may have gotten the requirements for functions may have changed based on the new things we added. New feedback comes in that changes the way we're looking at the systems in general, and so like the things that are in the far future are things that get changed and updated. So even the things that I'm like, there's certain things that I know for sure are coming, might happen earlier, might happen later, might get adjusted as we go, but I'm pretty confident about one thing. It's part of the reason why it's so hard to make a really informative and solid long-term roadmap, because we can put things in there and be like, this is what our plan is right now, but that plan, there's a very high chance it's going to change before we get there. All right, will we ever get a way to juice our echoes in a similar way to how we can in PoE? I think it would really help keeping the monolith engaged and fun. Thank you. Yeah, there's a few things we've tried to do to kind of get that vibe. Thank you very much for the sub there, Cricky. Welcome. Hope you're having fun. I don't think we're interested in like a 1-to-1 transplant of that system over into Last Epoch. Partially just because like that almost never works, and you know we've got to get all of the systems that like our monolith ties into, compared to how the maps tie in. There's a lot of unique things that if you just try and copy it 1-to-1, it's not going to work. I don't think that's what you're really asking for here either, but the feeling of being able to stack up a particularly hard and knowingly rewarding encounter is something that we're interested in. How that happens, what that looks like, I don't know. There's the bones. Okay, here we go. Go back the other way. No, go back the other way. Come on. Dang it. Okay. They're all going the other way now. Let's go. Get there. My goodness. Champion, don't die to it. We're just picking up everything. Is this neat? Did we lose anything back here? We did. Great. All right. We'll sort that out in the wash when we get back up top. The PS5 trailer you released a few weeks back spoke about Orbis, but it wasn't the Season 4 trailer, right? That is correct. That was not the Season 4 trailer. Season 4 will have different content in it. The stuff that we showed for that trailer was really about communicating to maybe PlayStation players who didn't know about Last Epoch yet, the sorts of things that the game has to offer, the style it is, the gameplay it has, stuff like that. So it was pretty well everything in that trailer was stuff that people who are playing on PC already know about, already have, all that sort of stuff. And also to tease some upcoming stuff for when we do bring out that Orbis expansion. But Season 4 will be different content. Did we not get a... Oh, right. It comes after you do that. Good one, Mike. Alright, I asked a while back if you guys could do a unique two-handed sword that acts as a one-handed sword, but you guys did not have the tech for it at the time. Now that you can wield a two-hander in one hand with Forge Guard, Can we please get a unique like this? It's not to Diablo 1 grandfather. Also Barbarian when? Maybe. It is easier to do now. The way it is set up, it's set up specifically as an attribute of the character class, not an attribute of an item. And you can't have an attribute for an item equip. You can't have an attribute for an item give you the ability to equip that item. That makes any sense? So like the only way to do this, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the only way that we have that we can do this right now without making new tech for it, is to have a set where one piece is not a weapon or is a weapon if you wanted to dual wielding them, but is not going to be going in your main hand slot, and that gives you the property that you can equip a two-handed weapon in your one-handed. But unfortunately, again, it's very generic again, or maybe it's a specific weapon. But I mean, like, I guess if we can give, maybe it is possible. Maybe if we can give that property generically, just across the board, it could work. There might be a way to do it. I don't know. I'm gonna go with, I didn't think so, but in trying to explain why it wouldn't work, I may have figured out how to make it work. All right, hi, read, Barbarian when? No, I don't know if we're gonna do Barbarian. If we do Barbarian, I don't know when it would happen. Hi, I read the post, makes sense. Are there any plans to perhaps have a dedicated team to make cosmetics? We have a dedicated team that makes cosmetics. They make lots of them. I'd love to spend some money on making my character look more awesome. Yeah. We have a dedicated cosmetics team that makes cosmetics. I think they're fantastic at it, and I really appreciate the stuff they put out. I switched up my my pets for the stream. We've got the golden chrono worm and the toucan. All sorts of stuff. Just drop it. All right, Mike. Currently, we miss. Oh, it's not high behind that. Currently, we miss 2 element themes from Nemesis bosses, fire and necrotic. Is there a lore reason why they are absent? Are there any plans to add them? I think partially it's just simplicity's sake. So, and like easy to understand what's going on. You see when it spawns, it's really clear which one it is. As soon as you get into dual element versions of it, then there's this like the number of different nemesis that spawn like just balloons huge, which might not be a terrible thing. But there's sort of this like this connection between how the depth complexity relationship. So does adding in a second element for each, like a second element, and then have like a pairing of them, so you can have like a fire and ice one and a that's sweet, and a like a cold and poison one. You know, like if every combination is possible, that's a lot of options that are floating around. And I don't know if it significantly adds to the depth. Another one, yes. I don't know if it significantly adds to the depth really to have that extra complexity. Okay, today's a good day. I can feel it. We have two LP versions of that. We just gotta find a chest. We have two LP versions of this now too. They're just all over the place. Okay. I didn't even check to see if this was good. 1 LP. All right. Fine. Okay. Cool. So much awesome stuff. Love it. All right, let's keep moving. We're gonna up the corruption here, but we're gonna actually grab a little more gaze first. Ooh, and we're gonna grab a needle. We do. Go. Grab this. Let's go. I don't think we have any plans to add more Nemesis element combinations. Xbox launch when? We have no information on any potential other consoles at the moment. If you're interested in seeing one of those, you can ask for them, and we'll do our best to expand it as well as we can. But for the moment, all we're announcing is PlayStation, and that's all that we're looking at right now. Season 3 Twitch drops relaunch. I don't know if we're doing that this time. I hope so. Excuse me while I get hit with just about everything I possibly can. Just trying to make sure my defenses were up to snuff. You know, it was a testing process there. I don't think we want any of these. We don't want crit chance. Nah. Needle for a needle. World splitter. Cool stuff. Okay. Now we should be able to bump that up really well. Hi Mike, when a bug gets to the fixing stage, how is it assigned to a person? Are there people whose main work it is to fix or do bugs go to people who have worked on that part of the code? A bit of both. So, if I think there's, it's a combination of both, really. So there are people that primarily what they do is fix bugs, but they'll also implement new features too. And if there is a bug that comes through and there's like one person that specifically worked on it, or like two people that specifically worked on that, and it's one of those things where if you know how the system was made and functions intimately, you can probably fix it way faster. Then they'll get that bug fixed. There's certain things where it's like, I don't know, if a node, like there's a loop, let's say. Example here. Here's an example. Okay, so let's say, see right here how this is highlighted, because there's one point here allowing me to go back this direction. Even though so this is connected, even though I don't have a point here, so it's a two-way connection there, because you can come at this Archmage node from either direction. So like sometimes these two-way connections don't work two ways properly, because that has to be done manually. And so like a bug report comes in for that, and the person who made that tree, who set that tree up originally, probably isn't going to be the one that fixes it. It's probably just going to be whoever has the prefab for the skills panel checked out at the time. They're going to be like, hey, can you just quickly do this? So it really depends on context how the person gets chosen. If it's something more complex, like the I don't know, inner workings of I'm using examples that I have familiarity with here, like how the functionality of some node in a skill tree works. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't happen. If it's how a functionality of like some individual skill bug, I'd say there's probably like 4 people that would get looked at to see who wants to do it, who's available, who's working on a big project, maybe who implemented that in the first place. Okay. Let's try this again and not just stand still and die instantly. Yay! We dodged the easiest ability to dodge possible. Yay! We did it. Yeah. What do we got now? 393? Not bad. It's our highest one. 394. 396. All right, let's try and push this over 400 and see what happens. Now that CT has been running for at least one patch length, how have you personally found the change to the impact the dev cycle? I'm personally kind of at arm's length from the CT program, so I don't have a ton of direct interaction. I'll pop my head in every once in a while. I'll read some feedback comments, things like that. But I'm not in there every day, so I'm not super intimate with the differences here. But I do know that several times I've gotten very good feedback from people who are in the CT program, and it has changed the course of how, oh my god, stuff has come out significantly for the better. Many times. Oh my goodness, they're multiplying. Ah! Go back. Quick. All right. This is what happens when you take all of the nodes for lizards in the Weaver's tree. It's awesome. Nothing really amazing so far. Some cool items. A lot of health on it. 37 health. That is. All right. I thought it was a 3 when I picked it up. Yeah. Some fine stuff. All right. I may have forgotten the question I was reading out before. I apologize. I think I'd finished it. Roadmap when? Hopefully soon. Hopefully very soon. I think there's just a few little things they're crossing the T's and dotting the I's right now. Oh, thanks, Kane. Yes. Good. Yes. I feel like I answered that. Thank you. Hey there, I'm completely obsessed with Fire Hydra from Diablo 2. Is there any chance that last Epoch could add similar spells? We do have, so there's, visually we don't have anything that's like identical. It's not like a flaming Hydra head, like 3 heads that like pop out of the ground and shoot fire bolts at things. We do have Hydrahedron as a Rune Master invocation. I think that's the closest thing, so you can check that out. There are also some the grapevines on Primalist have a similar vibe. They're not fire. They're like they're nature themed, so a little bit different on the theming, but they're much more similar in the visual style. They do have health, so it's a little bit different because they're technically minions. Yeah. But there's always a chance if you want to see something like that get added to something you're like, oh, I wish they had more of this. We do have a suggestions channel on our Discord that we regularly pull ideas from. So if you've got an idea that you'd like to see happen, that's the best place to put it down. All right. Hey, I don't know if someone has asked this. Totally fine if they have, but can you give us an option to disable character quips? Ah, yes, the like I'm not a man of many pockets. So there's the mute error voice lines, which is a good chunk of that, I think. But yeah, there's like categories of sounds. We can give options to mute them. I know there are some new, there's a couple new things to the settings panel that are coming around sound. I don't know exactly what it is, but it looked different last time I looked at it. There's like some marks for like 70% and things like that. Oh, baby Rift Beast. Fresh and simple. Not a care in the world. Lightning horns. We do it? We're doing it. Oh. Only 2 all minion skills, so that kind of sucks, but 2 LP. Oh. I mean, the extra LP is worth it. I don't know if we have a 2 LP one of those or not. All right. We do have a 2 with a 3. We have a 2 with a 3. Yeah, okay, well, it's our backup one. Thank you for the gifted sub, Arrow Weird. Giving it to Kane there. See him getting a sub. And another one to Derek. Giving them out to the staff there. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Hi, Mike. Any chance of there ever being a way to be able to craft affixes onto monos similar to PoE2 map crafting? I know the Weaver tree influences monos in a general way. Yeah, this is something I was talking about this. I was touching on this a little bit earlier, and things like this are stuff we've dabbled in a few options for. You are correct in that like the Weaver tree is something that came out of this this exploration of being able to customize the echoes a little bit more and select challenge levels and things like that. We are looking at how like you make meta decisions when moving through the monolith timelines right now, and ways that we can improve that experience. Exactly how that's going to manifest is still like we're still playtesting prototypes and things like that. Oh, another one. Attack speed, we don't. Right. Anything exciting? Oh, World Splitter, that's exciting. Let's see what happens. Is there any plan to do something with the old, small, minor, stout, and humble idols? Not really. It's good to have stepping stones in the game, so like it's good to have things that you know, like you don't use magic items when you get to the end game usually, unless you've got specific items that make that type of item really good, sort of thing. So like maybe there's some item in the future that says like for each non-Weaver idol or something you get some bonus. But I don't think we'd make significant changes to that, to the items themselves. Probably. It's possible though. Is this the final look for Shatter on Freeze? I mean, everything's always open for improvements, so final's kind of a tough thing to put on anything really. I don't think it's actively being developed differently than it is at the moment, but I don't know. Have you guys considered an opacity setting for skills for allies / self similar to Hero Siege to reduce visual clutter? Oh yes, that's been on the dream board. We don't actually have like a dream board, but that's been on a lot of people's wish lists for a very long time. That's something we tried to create a prototype for that way back in the Kickstarter. Actually, did not go well. Now that you have Shatter on Freeze, what's the next death effect from Bleed, Poison, Necro, Void, or Dismemberment? I don't know. I would, I feel like Bleed and Poison, you know, there's not a lot that happens there. I mean, you can have like, maybe like bleeding, they like get bloated and pop or something. I feel like that's an enemy specific death animation though. So many of them are, I can't think of a specific visual method that would stand out for a lot of those. If that makes any sense. Why don't you make all enemies except bosses shatter on freeze? It would be nice combat feel effect. I don't know. There's probably something in the way that the materials for each one of those enemies are set up that they doesn't play nice with the system if there's some that don't shatter properly. Weird gifting more subs. Oh, and also another one, Alt F for you. Don't do it, anyone. Which I realize is like the best way to get someone to do something, but oh, look at that actual good stat on it. Wow, that's lucky. All right, here we go, all the way to T7. It's going. I can feel it. Hold on. Why dual wielding always requires a sword as offhand? I mean, it doesn't. There are other options. So like, Primalist has an axe for offhand. Rogue has dagger for offhand. Not sure. There's other options elsewhere too. Is Acolyte axe? No, it's in Lich. Dual wielding. Axes or daggers, there we go. Yeah, not swords. So yeah, Lich is Acolyte Lich is not even swords at all. So the big reason why specific things get put into the offhand slot is so that those are the item types that you can have two of that thing equipped. But we're saying that you can also have, you know, like any normal item in your main hand. And because there's no distinction between main hand and offhand as far as functionality goes, it doesn't matter which is which. So like, even if you want like your sword to be your main weapon and a mace in your offhand as like your secondary weapon, the mace being in your main hand and the sword being in your offhand is the exact same thing in game. Like mechanically, they're identical. The only thing that's different is which hand it physically shows up in game, and that doesn't change anything functionality wise. There's no like attack speed scaling only goes off your main hand or something like that, or like stats are halved in your offhand or anything. Like nothing like that happens. So it's the restriction there is put on because we didn't feel that having two maces simultaneously equipped makes sense for say like a mage, you know, mage can only dual wield swords. So like it's having the two of the same type, restricting that is why there's only specific weapon types in the offhand. Belt. Ooh. 3LP Legacy of the Quiet Forest. Any performance fixes upcoming? This is one I can always answer because the answer is always yes. Yeah, we're we are like, performance is always one of those things that we're working on. Sometimes it's really minor stuff. So sometimes it's like we now have a new method for acquiring. If a mutator manager is an ability stats mutator manager for the processes of ability properties applying to skills on the fly better, so it's more performant. Like, I know that means like nothing, right? And it's probably like tiny fractions of frames every time it gets used, but it gets used thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and they add up. So yeah, we're always looking for ways to improve performance on like little tiny things like that, just like micro optimizations in the code, and also just and then like larger scale things as well. So changing systems for like improving a shader or something that will probably have a much bigger impact. Things like that happen far fewer frequency than things like minor code optimizations, but we're always looking for ways to improve the game performance wise. I also realized because we just updated the recommended specs for the game, and like, apart from like system memory, my computer's like basically the recommended specs. Like, maybe it's time to upgrade. But you know, recommended does work at 1440 on high settings, so not terrible. But yeah, there's also things like development for Steam Deck that has pushed a lot of performance updates. Development for now that we're starting to develop for PlayStation 5, that's going to have a lot of impact on performance as well. Like there's things that we're going to be optimizing all over the place. Thick skull sounds appropriate for me. Hi Mike, question about the internal workings of EHG. Since games are such a collaborative effort and EHG is all remote, how do you guys keep communication and coordination strong while working on the game? Great question. We have so we started out on Discord, was our like basically only method of communication. But now we use Slack. And we also have like this like document sharing service it's very similar to like Google Docs, but is much more designed for large projects and things like that, and collaborative design in large projects. So yeah, we have like we try and get in voice calls pretty frequently, so that we have that like sense and feeling of community, even though we're not physically in the same room as each other. There's like people that I hang out with frequently that I like would consider my friends, and like that we just like hanging out and having fun. I think a lot of it just comes from good communication in Slack, and it's a different type of collaboration process, but I don't know, I really like it. It works well for us. It's a delicate balance between lots of meetings to keep ourselves together and on the same page, and you know, like working well together, and not too many meetings, because there is like we fluctuate across that line. I think sometimes where we're like, there's too many meetings, and you know, like this meeting could have been an email sort of thing. I only got tier 4. That's too bad. That's okay. And then there's times where it's like, oh, we haven't had a meeting on this in a while, and you kind of get out of sync on it. And finding that sweet spot of what's enough but not too much is quite tricky. I think we're pretty good at it. We've been doing it for a long time. I cannot wait to sort through all this stuff, all these cool things. All right, trying to push out to the edge. We're gonna go here so we can make a beeline. Do you plan on adding new subclasses in the near future? since you seem to be working single skills as well currently. Near future would imply to me that we're asking about season 4 specifically, and I'm going to say no. There will not be a new mastery class in season 4. That's all I'm really able to comment on and commit to. I don't have any sort of timeline on the next mastery class when that'll happen. We are like there's a lot of design stuff that happens around. I know that I have to go back to the tomb. I just want to get this stuff done first. There's a lot of design work that goes into like upcoming masteries and ideas for those things. Sometimes like we'll be working on a skill and we'll say like, oh, here's an idea for this skill. That would be really cool. But hey, that kind of steps on the toes of this sort of archetype that we're planning on adding in later. So let's save it. You know, things like that do happen. So we are, I would say, slowly working on like carving out a space for specific masteries that we might eventually be working on. But there's nothing that's like imminent. Do this. I don't know why. Oh god. He jumped away. Oh, and one of these. They do have good stuff for me right now, so I do want to kill these. My face. I need that. These all... Okay, I thought I had these set to just like always be on. Yeah. What the heck? What the heck, Mike? I'm gonna deal with this later. Want more boots with those mods. Okay. More questions. We're gonna answer more questions. That's what's happening next. Mike's looking over for more questions. Here we go. But hey, Mike. I asked the Nemesis element question. Cool. I did not mean to add dual elements to Nemesis. I meant Nemesis are missing 2 elemental versions, fire and necrotic version. Yes, I understand. Was just curious if you did not add either of them for a specific reason, or they will come at some point. Sorry, I misunderstood. That's my bad. I think the reason they probably weren't added in the first place was probably just like a time constraint. We were probably under pressure for getting the patch out, and you know, we just like can't do all of them. Let's pick a few and go. How many can we get in? Do those sort of thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I bet that's what it was. As for adding more of them, I could see us adding more of them, like finishing off the number there, because that's only 2 more. It's not that many more. I don't think there's any specific plans laid out for that, but I don't think it's unreasonable either. Hey Mike, thanks for these streams. You're welcome. I'm really glad people like it, because I like doing it. I understand you can't say what's in the expansion, so if it was solely up to you, oh gosh, these questions are so dangerous. If it was solely up to you, what would you pick? What would you pack into the add-on? Feel free to elaborate. How much dev time do I have to work with? Do I have like 4 years of dev time, and an infinite budget? But like only 6 months passes in the real world. Can I be like in a time dilation chamber with an infinite budget? What do I put in there? You know, I think I don't really want to give an answer to this question. Actually, I would love to give an answer to this question. but I think that giving an answer to it is very likely to be misconstrued on how much control I have over this and how likely the things I answer are going to actually happen. But you know, I think that the general things that we'd like to see from this sort of from a large scale like addition to the game would be pretty similar to what I think a lot of people are asking for in the community. And so the things that I'm seeing asked for a lot in the community, haha, I figured out a way around this to answer this question. The things I'm seeing asked for a lot in the community are like people making sure, people are like, hey, we want to make sure the story is finished. There's a lot of people, I think that's a very divisive thing where people are like, we want to make sure the story's finished. Other people are like, I don't care about the story at all. It's a waste of time. So that's something that's important to a lot of people. Like in-game customization. We've had 2 major questions in chat already today about in-game customization. I think end-game activity expansion. So there's like new activities, new things to do in the end game, new ways to interact with the end game, new objectives, new gameplay patterns that get created by new situations you get put in, things like that. That's something that I think I would like to focus on. People are, and like it's kind of the questions we're seeing in chat here, like things that like new classes, new skills, updates to old ones, better balance, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of things that I think that you know, that we want to put into this, and it's going to come down to a matter of how much time do we have, how fast are the things we prioritize first. Because sometimes we'll say like, okay, here's 10 things we want to put in, and we're like, okay, these 3 have to get in. Patch doesn't launch without these 3 things, and these 7 things, however many of them we can get in, great. And we just start working on them and churning away at them and getting them done as fast as we can. And so sometimes it comes down to just a matter of how many of those things do we get done. Let's go. Where are we going from? This way. And I want something else to get me through this. Well, let's fight Majas at the end. Why not? Alright, any of these redoable? Yeah. Oh, and 2, that one's kind of just, yeah, it's T6 of that, which is nice. And we are going to be using that one long term. Let's do this one. All right, never mind. Oh. Not showing off the min gold, hiding like a pro. What? Can you hide minimum gold things? Did we add that? Did I miss that? I don't think we did that, did we? That's what I know people have been asking for. Oh. Oh. Did not know we added that. I know someone was talking about that. Never realized it made it in. Awesome. Drop some of that clutter. 200 might be too restrictive for me. I don't know. We'll see if I just like don't see any gold ever again. Luckily, it does still pick it up if you walk over it by mistake. there be more variations? Ooh, that was close. I was not looking at my screen. Yeah, that one's getting redone. It's a garbage enchant. What are you doing, Mike, huh? Will there be more variations of minion / lich skins in the future? Yeah, we're gonna keep adding in more skins. That's just, we're gonna keep adding in all sorts of skins for all the things. So yeah, eventually we'll get to insert skill name here. All right. About half an hour behind chat. Your question's not been answered and it was a long time ago. I'm about half an hour behind. Oh yeah. Some high quality H2O right there. Here's a little, I'm gonna toss up a little preview of the teasers to come today. I'll answer some questions. Hey Mike! I like to organically build my characters and hate using build guide. That's what I've been doing with this character for the most part, is trying to just be kind of in what I call it the naive approach, where you don't go digging deep before you go and you just take what's available at the time. A side effect of that is it's often harder to push corruption. Yes, which means that I get blocked from harbingers because of this. Any thoughts on enabling harbingers at lower corruption, perhaps without the unlocking of Aberoth until you reach the needed corruption? It's one of those things where the harbingers are like it's a gear check for like Aberoth. It's like it's a like that's the next stepping stone. So like I think it's possible that we need more benchmarks and more stepping stones, and I realize what I'm doing, like I always do. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's like it's a benchmark stepping stone. Like so, there's what's the wrong word? It's a threshold, a power threshold. And so like if you're struggling to get through the harbingers, it means like you need to farm up more gear or improve the build, sort of thing. Now that's easy to just say, right? And there may be that we need more. That the jump between normal and empowered is possibly too large. We are looking at the way that you the meta progression through difficulty in the end game. That is something that we are actively looking at and reconsidering at the moment. So if there's specific things you want to see with regards to that, now's a great time to drop suggestions on our suggestion channel and feedback in our feedback channels in our Discord. Because we are actively looking at that right now. Yeah. But I agree, when you are going through the, like, I'm just gonna take a thematic approach. I'm gonna start the process. I'm gonna go, I'm making a fire mage, and you just take all of the fire mage stuff regardless of what gear you get, and you just see how well the fire mage goes. Now maybe fire mage happens to be terrible this season or something like that, and you don't find fantastic gear for it, and it just like falls on its face. That's very possible to happen. But we try to make sure that players can take that approach. And at least get going well into the end game. And I would say well into the end game being like you're challenging harbingers at least. Like challenging the harbingers means that you are you're getting through every timeline at least once. It's trying to be good. It's trying so hard to be good. It's just not. All right. Hey, Mike. What is that? Good afternoon, Mike. Good afternoon. I have a comment and then a question. I noticed that the health of MG was pretty good this season. I was able to farm gold, buy gear for my characters effectively in monos, and the Weaver tree properly spec'd. Question. Not sure if this has been decided, but I'm going to ask. Will MG get split between console and PC? I hope not. as it will increase the health of the market for MG. I don't know. This is one of those things where we're far enough out from PlayStation release that I do not know what sort of crossplay and connection will be available. I think that this is something that would be a how do I say this? If we were to make this the most popular option from a player perspective, I think would generally be full, complete, compatible crossplay in every way. Just everything's connected fully. I think that would be the most popular decision to make. Hey, quiet. Airward gifted something quiet for me. That's the person who made the belt that I thank you, Airward. The belt I picked up earlier was his unique that he made. Anyways, yeah, I think full crossplay would be the most popular thing. If we said, okay, everything works for everything and it's full compatible crossplay, that would be like the cheering in the streets option sort of thing. I don't know if that's possible for us to do or not. So like it probably will come down to what can we make work, not what do we think people want to make work, if that makes any sense. All right. Do you think you'll ever add a Death Knight type class to the game? I think the chances are pretty low for adding a Death Knight mastery. I think Death Knight mastery would go under Acolyte if we were gonna do it. I don't know. It could happen. Maybe. I'm gonna say it's possible. I have a feeling that it probably won't. But we are talking vague intuitions from extremely far in the future that I have almost no control over. So, massive dump truck of salt, you know? All right. Thoughts on maybe seeing dual wielding shields in the future? It's very rarely touched design space. We do already kind of cheat and do this sort of. So there's a one-handed axe in the game that looks and functions like a shield, which means you can equip that in your main hand and then a different shield in your offhand and you're away to the races. And you get that kind of dual wielding shield thematic vibe. It doesn't, it unfortunately, it still counts technically as an axe. You know, so it is tricky. You know, like things like while wielding an axe still count for it, which isn't ideal. Is there a story behind the Captain's Ring base item, the stun avoidance one? Yes, that is part of the diegetic tutorial system. So there are certain there are two items in the game. Actually, that's not true. We added the personal items. There's, well, yeah, I'm gonna say this. There's two white items in the game that always drop from the exact same place every single time, no matter what. One of them is if you're playing a rogue, the first enemy pack you kill drops a short bow. Because it's a class that has bows on it. We want to make sure that you start the game and you're like, hey, I got a bow, and you try and equip the bow if you want to play a bow character. And second is the Captain's Ring, because it is crit avoidance is something that is it's an important thing, and I think a lot of new players don't really register that it's like even a thing that you can get, and it's sort of put there to signpost like, hey, crit avoidance is a thing, you might want to consider picking it up, sort of thing. Maybe you don't even have a ring at that point. There's also the nightmare boots. What do we call them? Merciless boots. There's a name for this. What's the name we have for the boots? Did I say crit avoidance? Stun avoidance. Sorry. My goodness. Words are hard. Masochist mode. Thank you, Kane. Appreciate you. Veterans boots. All these games using different terminology for the same thing. Grumble, grumble, grumble. All right. Any plans to allow Weaver items to be re-rolled, similar to what we can do with idols, so we don't need to store 20 versions of Weaver's Shield trying to get good stats? It's possible. It's very rare that a unique has the opportunity to change once it's become a legendary. There's like 3 situations where that happens, really. I don't think it's impossible. I'm not sure exactly what that would look like. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see some ideas and options for that. I will get a 2 LP Bone Climber at some point. It'll happen. Come on. Those things need to drop items faster. I am excited for the future of EHG and LE. Awesome. What are you most excited about? Where do you hope to see LE in the next 3 years? I mean, ooh. Problem is, I know some of the plans for the next like little while. So it's hard to say exactly what I would hope for it. I mean, I hope that, I guess, the vague statements of, I hope people are still enjoying the game and playing it and having fun, and I hope we're able to keep creating new and interesting things for people to play. What am I most excited about? I'm most excited about, I really like making new skills, new skill trees, new ways to interact with skills, new items and things that make cool interactions and options. And so I guess I'm most excited about specific changes to those systems and the new things that we're going to add to the game for those systems. This is the stuff I'm most excited about personally. Partially that's what I have the most hand in making. There's a few like secret projects that have been spun up recently that I can't talk about at all for like far future content that I'm really excited about. First meeting for one of them's happening on Monday, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, I guess my hope is that we're still making lots of new stuff all the time, and people are enjoying it and having fun. I know it's super vague, but oh my goodness, a third one! Let's go. Don't worry about that question, Kate. I got it. This is your rare midweek character sheet reminder request. That's all I want. That's what I want to see the next 3 years. My hopes and dreams. It's all summed up in a new character sheet rework. Scrap everything else. just kidding. Oh, this one's basically empty. Duplicate, and we're gonna duplicate, and we're gonna rename this 14. Oh, enter doesn't do that. I did it again. I hit enter again. I don't know why. Are we going to get an upcoming season? Are we going to get in an upcoming season? Sorry, doesn't have to be in 4. An additional level of complexity item-wise. The closest example I can think of is jewels in PoE. Not saying to do that, but something similar to give more depth to builds. Kinda? Not really. think there's something that's kind of on the verge of being related-ish, but I don't think it counts enough, so I'm gonna say no. I think if I said yes, people would be disappointed. Did it spawn? Is that it? No. That's a loot lizard. I heard it. Come back here. You're mine. Let's see a few things up here. We're going this way. Higher density. Can we make that jump? Oh yeah. More questions. What do you envision your upgraded PC to look like? I don't know, like probably like a Ryzen 9 with like a RTX 5060 or something like that. Would be probably what I'd look at. I haven't done a lot of research on it. Part of the problem is that like the things that I'd want in a computer are very different for working on Last Epoch than playing Last Epoch. I'd have to look at where like the good price performance value thresholds are. I'll probably wait until Black Friday. Maybe Boxing Day. Probably not though. I need mana bad. Can these things be killed in this version? No. I forgot. They're just gonna hang out. So I guess we just chill and let our minions kill? Talking slack is a team comms tool. There's always a meme channel inside. Care to share the last posted meme, or at least describe it? I don't spend much time looking at that channel. Most of the off-topic discussions are like, just like about other games. Be like, oh, like so and so played this. Okay, apparently there is one. Okay. Just a second. It's too big. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. This was the last posted one in there. Thanks, Kane. I liked that. All right. Hey, Mike, is it possible to make dots like bleeding, for example, deal their damage continuously instead of once every 0.5 seconds? Similar to how it works in PoE 2. In my opinion, it looks much smoother and makes it easier to distinguish damage over time from direct hits. Well, funny enough, it does deal damage over time like PoE and not in 0.5 second increments. The damage numbers are reported every 0.5 seconds, but it's actually a collection of the all of the damage ticks that have happened over the last 0.5 seconds. So yeah, I fixed it already that fast. Poof. I had nothing to do with it myself, actually, but we should put Exalteds in here instead of these. That's why I'm getting so many of these, even though they are glorious. Do we have any Exalteds? Any T7s? We want a T7 chest with health regen on it. T7 chest with health regen. I mean, we can take any T7 chest and put health regen on it. I mean, ideally we want health regen and health. Oh, doing this now is a mistake. I need to do this off stream. Hey, look what we got. We're gonna do one of these first, but we're also gonna do it with a needle. 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 When are dungeons / arenas getting a rework? They're a cool idea, but super underbaked, and the only addition they got was a key to skip them instead of making them fun. Yeah, so we definitely took a workaround approach for them most recently. I don't know when we're going to be making updates to them, but I do agree that it's something that could use some love and has opportunity for significant improvements. I think something that's pretty uncontroversial that I think a lot of people would like to see is the addition of the procedural content generation happening for dungeons. Because right now it's not really procedural content generation. Shenanigans. I declare shenanigans. We'll be more careful next time. If you pizza when you're supposed to French fry, then you're gonna have a bad time. Okay. No, we're doing this one. We're doing it. We know that crap will kill us. Yeah, procedural content generation for dungeons. Arenas. Yeah, I don't know where. Like, I don't know what the quick win option for arenas is that like really takes it to the next level. Go, minions, go! You can do it! Run away! Yes. Take that, you jerkface. Yeah. Just the better rolled version. So much stuff. All right. Okay, you know what this calls for? Because I did die there. Did die. All right, here's another little tease on. Some of these are a little harder to decipher exactly what's going on and what's changed, what's new. But there are some new options here. Any chance we can get full transmog sets rather than having to select each piece individually? It's basically just a UI thing. I think it's definitely possible, because I mean, what we can do is we just say like, when you equip any piece, be like, equip the full set that goes with this sort of thing, and it just automatically changes everything else to match that set for all the pieces of it that you have. See, I as it's just a UI thing, I don't see why not really, but yeah, as usual, you know the drill, Edward. You want to see it? That suggestions channel. We're gonna move this before we go to the fight. It's gonna look weird. Cut it off. It's really important information. Okay. We're not gonna die. We're staying far away. Being cautious, because our defenses are still kind of poop. Really don't need a 1 LP siphon. Really don't need one. $451. We're getting up there. Should we do this? Do this with a needle, and it should spike. It might even just give us another one right away. I don't know if that takes us high enough. So don't even do that, do we? But yes, so I made a comment on Discord shortly before the stream. Someone was asking about teasers for the stream that some people would be very excited, and other people wouldn't care at all. So yes, as you can see now, the theme around the teasers this stream are all loot filter ones. So yeah, there's some new options for loot filters coming. The first screenshot had increased. There's no chill on that that pizza. No chill. I gotta stop cutting it so fine. I'm used to the slices being cut a little thicker, you know? Because quarters are just too small for a slice of pizza, right? What are lizard tails? Lizard tails? Lizard tails are an item that can be dropped by loot lizards. I mean, actually, I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? What are you talking about? Doesn't look like anything to me. Right. More questions. Good afternoon, Mike / evening, Mike / Kane. Will there be a 4th specialization even if you don't find a specialization for each of the 5 classes? Or, sorry, will there be a 4th specialization even if you don't find a specialization for each of the 5 classes? Or do we need to wait for Barbarian till you find a 4th class for all other specializations? Like, are you... oh, I see. I got it. We are prepared to increase the total number of specializations. We are prepared to have it so that there's an imbalanced number of specializations for each class. So like we could release a 4th mastery for Acolyte, but not for Mage. So that Mage would have 3 masteries and Acolyte would have 4 masteries. That's okay. That's we're not going to wait and do 5 masteries all in a single patch. That would be insane. that would be insane. And also, just to be clear, it's possible that Barbarian might not be the next mastery for any of the existing any of the existing classes that are there. Like that is, I know it's been like community confirmed, I want to call it, but like it's not been actually confirmed. Just to be clear. I find the altar of sacrifice mechanic incredibly confusing. Oh no. Even after reading a Reddit post, I still don't understand it. Can you maybe put a video guide on how it functions with a unique / exalted item? I feel like there's got to be some good guides out there already. Aaron, have you released one recently about this? Is that a thing? I feel like that's something you need to have a video about. If not, we can do a better job at tutorializing that. Maybe it needs to go in the game guide. There is this you press G. There's this big game guide that's got all sorts of stuff in here. I wonder if there's more info in here. Nope. Specific woven echoes. Not detailed info about individual ones. Nice. Is this perfect? Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, we'll get a little bit better one in there, but that's gonna lead us to the promised land a little bit faster. Hello, Mike. Any news about the idols filters? Assuming affix range filtering. Yes. I don't know if we have anything specific on that coming yet. But as you can see, we are working on loot filter stuff. Here, I'll give you a little. Here's the last teaser for today. Oh, I've got, I guess, one more image, but the important stuff's here. I think that there's a reason why affix range filtering isn't being put in. I think it's a technical reason. But I don't know off the top of my head. All right. How do you feel about the latest expansion you guys released? Overall satisfied, or are there any lessons learned? I mean, I am very difficult to satisfy when it comes to releasing game content, and that, always lots of lessons to learn for sure. I think that I think the game's better than it's ever been. I think it keeps improving. I think that there's room for there's always room for improvement. I think that we've done oh no. I just put my idle. I think that was it. It's not a very good one. There's tons of things we can learn. And sometimes there's things that we like suspected and we just like weren't quite sure, and then like we put it out and it confirms that. I'm always like, how does this? It's so difficult for me to remain objective when it comes to looking at Last Epoch, and I have a tough time not just loving it even if there's something wrong with it, and so like I have to work really hard to look at it objectively, and to like taking criticism about it is so necessary, and it's so hard. It's like another kid for me almost, and it's like hearing that something's not perfect about it is really tough, you know. But there's always, thank you, Kane. There's always room for more, for improvement on it. All right. If the expansion does have a cost associated with it, would you then have to plan each season/expansion afterwards for players with and without the expansion? And if so, would this restrict the type of content in the expansion to help avoid conflicts with future content? Considering not everyone would own it. Absolutely, yes to all of that. You know, like that's one of the main reasons why when we initially were planning out how we wanted to set up like long-term additions to the game, we wanted to keep we wanted to keep the like that style of content additions out, so that we wouldn't have to worry about that. Frankly, it's just a lot easier. Yeah, the teaser's teasing something. Do I know exactly what it's teasing? No. Was I just given these screenshots to put up? Yes. I've got a full version of the whole thing here. There's a not cut up version. Or less cut up version. I guess it's still cut up a little bit, isn't it? Is that because I have a filter on it? No, That's just the way the image is. Yeah, there's some changes to the loot filter that's coming. Options that you have, things that weren't possible before. I think there's also a few just like jokes in there too. We're talking about expansion stuff and how that would work. I don't know. That's a big part of it. So this is all the things you brought up about potential conflicts in content and how that blends in with more expansions in the future and adding in content and things like that. All those concerns is stuff that we're gonna have to figure out. That's all things that are going to be discussed and debated, and you know, how we make that work is going to probably, even after we come up with a version on how that's going to look and we release that, I would suspect that there's it would change and there'd be like new versions of it in the future. This is all in the hypothetical scenario that you outlined at the start, where if there were costs associated with it. If there weren't, then it's just business as usual. One day we'll get that 2 LP Bone Climber. It'll happen. A lot of shards right there. Okay. How about linking the automatic pickup of glyphs, runes, items to in-game activity? For example, kill a few uber bosses and the items underneath you will automatically be picked up. Oh, like you unlock the ability to get auto pickup? Yeah. I think the problem with that, it's not a terrible idea. I think the problem with it is that you're playing through a season and it disincentivizes playing the next season, I think is what it does, because or it makes that start of that new season experience worse by comparison. So you're looking back at it from, hey, I was just like last season, because I downloaded the uber bosses and I was able to have that auto pickup function added to my character, and then you start the next season with a new character and suddenly that function's gone and you're like, great, now I gotta do this, now I gotta go back to the old style. And I think it feels, having something taken away like that, even if it's not like gone from the game but just gone from the current character, and having to go back to the old way, I don't think it's a lot of fun. It also has issues with like maybe you're playing normal and then your friend tells you to come play hardcore with them and you go play hardcore, and then the hard does, like, it would probably be stash bound, so suddenly then you don't have access to it again and it's frustrating again. And I think that there's some issues there. I'd rather just have it be I think the function for what is auto pickup and what's not needs to be universal and consistent throughout the game, and not be something that's either unlocked or added or purchased or anything like that. All right, will we get video tutorials like PoE 2 eventually, or is that something you aren't interested in? We've commissioned some video tutorials from content creators that already make high quality Last Epoch videos, and so like we've done that before, and I think it's on the table to do it again, possibly. Cyborg sees them all. Yeah, so rules going up, max rules going from 75 to 200. As you can see here, yeah, max roll on 29 of 75. But this one over here that my mouse cursor won't show up over top of says 200 max. That's a big one. That's something that a lot of people a few people are very, this is what I was talking about. People are gonna be really excited about it, and other people are just gonna not care, because if you're using your loot filter and don't have your maxed out on rules, you don't care if we add more rules. There's also some conditional joining clauses that are added there, which are nice. Very nice. To the point of my question about dots was to ask why the design decision was made for the health bar to drop in discrete ticks instead of smoothly. I find the continuous version to be much more visually pleasing for some reason. I think it's simply because there are, I don't know why the health bar does. The health bar I feel like should go down smoothly. The ticks in the on the screen were done because like the damage number pop-ups were done because you can't read damage numbers when they're like super stacked on top. If the damage numbers were showing up as fast as they're ticking, you wouldn't be able to read any of those numbers at all. It would just be a mess, complete mess, because it's tiny fractions of seconds. I guess the health bar does go down, like the health does go down, and the characters do take damage gradually, like smoothly. And I guess the health bar only updates when the damage numbers update. So it's probably just a performance thing there, or an oversight. Yeah, my money's on oversight or performance for the reason. Looking at Peak of the Mountain, help. I can't leech from critical, but if it's calculated as normal. Assuming I do 100% critical, can I leech? No, you can't leech from critical hits. Oh, I see what you're asking. Like if you have a hit that the first chunk of it does like normal, like here, I understand. I got it. Like if you have like your whole damage is like this, and like this is the normal, and this is crit. Can you leech this portion of it while ignoring the damage from the top? No, you don't leech any of it at all. If that is not the question you're asking, please ask it again and I will do my best to answer it properly. Hey Mike, hello. I hope you're doing good. I am doing good. Question about dots. If I recall correctly, it was mentioned in one of the streams, currently all the dots feel kind of the same, just a bit different visuals. Will dots be somewhat reworked and or expanded with different additional effects or something more interesting than just X damage over X seconds? If yes, when? Bonus question, Steam achievements and pet girl when? Okay, so the base functionality for dots, we've been trying to make dots have like interesting things that dots can do for a long time and improve how they function with each other, and give them a little bit of thematic feel to them a little bit. Having that thematic feel come from the base functionality of the dot is something that we've really steered away from, and we've really been trying to add that feeling through what other effects you can get. So like adding in items that allow you to spread fire from between enemies. It's getting that thematic feeling of, oh, like something's on fire and it catches something else on fire near it. And so we've been trying to build in that thematic difference from external sources onto it by augmenting the existing dots instead of changing the base functionality too much. Partially because of a complexity issue. So having that base functionality be straightforward and simple lets you expand that functionality as you're playing, instead of just the base version of it is always high complexity. Yeah, the two that are the same are Bleed and Ignite are kind of the two that are just like always the same. All right. Bonus questions, Steam achievements. We're working on them. Pet girl when? I don't know, but I hope soon. All right, next question. Can we get a storage chest in normal echoes? Yes. In case we complete too many prophecies and there are too many items to pick up. Oh, like in the echo itself. Not really, no. That kind of defeats the purpose of having them. I think this, so there's a few situations where prophecies pop in inopportune times and it causes problems. I think the solution is more of a I think we need a more creative solution. Possibly something as simple as like just having the prophecy completed and you have to like claim the prophecy by saying like click here to claim it, and it like then pops and all the items drop. I feel like we've had that suggested before, and I don't know why we didn't do it. But something along those lines is something we'd be more inclined to do. We definitely can't put just a stash in every echo, though. I'm sorry. Hey Mike, can you guys make a loot filter argument that allows to only show Exalteds with T7? Yes. Yeah, totally do that. Right here. Individual tiers got to be greater than 7. Asking for a demonstration? One step ahead of you. Bam. Yeah. So what this is for me is I specifically want a two-handed axe or an amulet that has basically any affix that's T7 that can drop pretty well any affix. So it's just like give me a two-handed axe or an amulet that's T7 affix and show it to me. But you can get more restricted with it too. Will you ever give us the opportunity for physical merch? Oh my god, I want to so bad. Please keep asking for it. I don't know what needs to happen to make it happen. Like my friends and family ask for it too. I don't know what to say. I've given away most of my my merch that I've picked up from like going to events and stuff. You can see like basically all of what I have left behind me. I have 2 hats. I have this hat and one of the original old style hats. I wear the other one a lot. This one's like a tiny bit smaller and just doesn't quite fit my head as well, so it lives here and it's nicer, so I don't really want to wreck it. But I wear my other Last Epoch hat all over the place. It's getting kind of dirty. I need a new one. And yeah, we've got these shirts and like some Last Epoch t-shirts and stuff like that, and the computer case. That was a collab with Starforge. I would love to get physical merch out. Like I'm there's a giant playmat that I'm playing on that I would have to pick up my keyboard and mouse to show it to you. We've done a few, I guess what I'm saying is we've done a few limited run things, and I would love to have a permanent merch store up that just like, even if it just had the basics, would be so great. I want it. Keep asking for it, please. What is your design philosophy of new cycle mechanics? Is there a plan to mix it up more and more? Yeah, I think that, you know, we started out trying to fill gaps in gameplay with them. That was sort of like early things. We're like, okay, well, this is missing. Let's try and fill this gap. And I think we're now looking a little bit more into the like, let's design an experience and get this like activity in sort of thing. I think that's more interesting going forward, but it was very necessary for us to start with let's fill some gaps. I think a lot of the cycle mechanics that we put in, it's different each time because it depends on the scope and the scale we're ready to do. If there's other major projects that are happening in the same season that we need to incorporate, the people that need to work on these mechanics, are they also working on other projects for this season or for next season or the future, that sort of thing. So like, it's what we can do is often restricts what we finally go with. Mike, good to see you again. Good to see you too. Wondering if we will get new UI MTX. UI MTX, that's an interesting one. We haven't talked about that in a while. In the past, we turned down the idea of UI MTX. In the past we turned down the idea of UI MTX, but that doesn't mean it's gone forever. There's something in the okay, for a while we even considered having the UI adapt to what era you're in. So like if you're in the ruined era, your UI gets all voidy and weird, and then when you're in like the ancient era, your UI gets like more ornate and like so yeah, you can kind of see some of that theming in from the left to right side here, how it changes what it looks like, and these flourishes here are different on each side. So we've dabbled on that a little bit, and we considered having like ways you could customize your UI, visual style, that sort of stuff. I think there's still a lot of work that's being done on individual UI elements and improvements to specific layouts and things like that we want to make sure is rock solid before we start getting too far into UI customization. I think there's also the danger, especially if you're talking MTX specifically, that individual UI can become like an actual improvement. It's the same thing with like cosmetics in game, that if like one version is like better to do, you don't want the competitive option to be buy this MTX. That's a really important thing that we've wanted to make sure of. That doesn't happen. Where was that axe? This axe here. I'm gonna do just like a little bit of quick crafting here. We are going to chaos this once. I don't actually want that. Not an improvement. Also not an improvement, and we're out of fortune potential. Great. Wonderful. Exactly what I wanted to see. Okay. No questions in the queue. We have 5 minutes left. I got no questions. Talking about UI MTX, when is the Atera by our health globe gonna get updated to the new Atera look? I don't know. I think that needs to happen though, doesn't it? Like I don't think we can. I feel like that should have been done when it happened, but not sure. When you can make black hole viable, when we can fix the. I know this sounds ridiculous, but yeah, black hole's been kind of intentionally pushed off to the side a little bit. I know it's hard to hear, and I'm sorry about it. The forcing enemies movement functionality doesn't work well. It's glitchy and buggy and sucks. And so you may have noticed that there's like as we've reworked abilities and reworked items, we've actually removed that functionality from a lot of skills. And it hasn't been added into any new skills in a very long time. The versions that do have it, we've reduced the amount that they pulls. Like when you're pulling enemies in, we've reduced the amount that it's pulled them in by. And like we need there's an issue in the movement code that causes it to look bad, basically, and we need to fix that before we can really put that type of mechanic back in the forefront. It's kind of what it boils down to. Alright. Any new runes or glyphs planned for next patch? Not that I know of. That doesn't mean there won't be any. There's none that are in yet. That's about all I can say. The sound for those, it cuts through. I love it. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Pushing Emperor corpses around, yeah. It's an issue. Is EHG Mike plushie merch coming this year? I would love a plushie version of myself. That would be incredible. Nemesis Tower to scale. Yes, please. Jewel Restart Isle does not re-trigger with Warpath, only on manual dodge or stopping. I have to manually trigger. Will this be fixed? Are we sure that's a bug? Start Isle. When you use a movement or time travel skill, all stats in this item are tripled for 4 seconds. Every time you use a movement or time travel skill, yeah. So every time you start warpathing, I think it should happen once. And you have to stop warpathing to make it happen again. If it requires you to use, oh my goodness, clicking too fast. If it's anything other than that, please drop a bug report in, and we'll take a look at it. F8 in game. Super easy. Why not give Black Hole a low cooldown so it can at least be playable for damage? Like even with 2-second cooldown, it would be mediocre because it would still have the same pull issues. Make it even worse, actually. Yeah, okay, so it's while warpathing, it does not trigger. Yeah, because warpath is a single use. So like when you start warpathing and you're channeling and you're spinning, that's in your first use of it, and you're still in that first use. So if it's not re-triggering from that same first use, that is functioning as expected and it's not bugged. Like it should only trigger once for every time you start using warpath. If it's doing anything else, it's a bug. But from the term re-trigger, I think it's working as expected. From the sounds of it. Yeah, 1. Maybe 2. Maybe 2. Dare to dream. I got popped. We're just gonna right back in and fight it. This is the last thing for the stream. We're almost done here. Oh, I've got a... Here we go. For this. Once more. This. Here we go. All right, we are right at the end of the stream here. Pick everything that we can. All right, please add a season challenge system like PoE has with some cosmetic rewards for milestones to give more incentive for players to play season, maybe cool totem or end of time to show off. Yeah. If like, I love suggestions like this. I'd love to see it too. If you want to see it, we've got great places to submit feedback for things like this. We've got a forum channel, a channel on our forums and also in our Discord that you can submit feedback and suggestions like this. And we do go to those places and look for ideas. So yeah, if you want to get something like that in, that is the place to do. Yes, and we also did just rework the Discord feedback and suggestions channel to make it more straightforward. Yeah, so that'll do it for me today. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I'll be back same time, same place next week. If I did not answer your question, I apologize. It was not intentional. Please head on over to our Discord. There's an Ask the Devs channel, and I will do my best to answer it there. And that's about it. That'll do it for me. Let's go find someone to say hi to. Yeah. Drink lots of water. Oh, I got a screen for this, don't I? Yeah, there we go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have fun. Bye.